no, this is not J.J. Burden.
Yeah.
You know, like how do you, like the guy kind of deserved what he got because if you're that dumb, you kind of deserve it. But so and then he makes the whole thing like as this pretending to be this NFL player coming out of the closet.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, you hear J.J. Burden in the background. Hey guys, it's J.J. Burden. Can you hear me? Guys, it's J.J. Can you hear me? And they hang up on him, thinking it's someone messing with him, trying to step on their interview with a former NFL wide receiver.
So your whole plan kind of went from just being a kind of a joke to kind of
like
blowing up to going all too perfectly for you guys.
Went all too perfectly. So the call ends. Later, we decide, you know what, we're going to keep messing with the guy. So he's flipping out, realizing that it wasn't J.J. Burden. So we had him convinced, someone called him, we had him convinced that we were people from ESPN telling him to kind of get his act together. And now when stuff like that happened, the dude was crying.
Oh my God.
Like, he was having a breakdown. We caused the breakdown. Like, and this is probably the emotionally damaged comedian in me saying this. Well, we should have felt bad for the guy. But again, with what was being said, how do you not know that?
Yeah, well, the thing I do is like, I'm gonna have somebody on, like on Blog Talk especially, like I just kind of I make sure of the phone number that I'm being called, that's the person's calling in to me and all that stuff, so that I don't run into trouble like you, because I knew like just with the setup of Blog Talk Radio, I just knew that there was always a chance of some scumbag like yourself doing something like that.
Hey, listen, I'm a nice guy, but I when it comes to the things of comedic value, I have no problem being an utter scumbag. So, I mean, I'm not like in the behind the scenes aspect, like dealing with people and all, but like on stage or on mic, I have no problem. If it's funny, if I can make it funny, I'll do it. I have no problem with that. But yeah, no, how do you not know? And how do you not I mean, it happened all too perfectly. Maybe that's why. But how do you not make sure and verify that or at least have a screener?
Yeah,
I felt like if he had a screener,
you guys, with the way you I didn't listen to it, but I figured with the way you make it sound, it could have been easily debunked in a matter of 2 seconds.
It really could have. It really, could have been easily debunked had the guy just known. All right, J.J. Burden, again, African-American wide receiver. First thing you should have thought of, hey, why does J.J. Burden suddenly have just a New York Guinea accent?
Yeah.
Because this Joe's accent is thick, like New York Italian. It doesn't sound like J.J. Burden at all. Like, how do you not know? Again, so he deserved what he got. Stupid.
Is there anything? Obviously, I can tell there's no remorse on that one, which I'm not saying you should. But is there anything you guys have done on your show where you felt a little bit of remorse?
Yeah, it happens from time to time. We're emotionally down. We're not heartless. There's some times where. And the people were usually cool about what we did, but would still feel bad. There was a friend who had an issue with his eye, and he brought it. He's one of those guys who will put himself under the bus. So we were making pirate jokes about him, and he was laughing. He was taking a champ, but we were just both like, "Dude, we rarely apologize." Well, dude, sorry, we were going a little overboard there with the joke. We've been obviously legitimate with it. Aside from that, sometimes one of us will play I'm sorry, I'm going to use wrestling terms here. The heel, the bad. Sometimes one of us will get too into playing the heel or just the douche. That sometimes we will say something jokingly while playing that character.
Yeah.
And not realize just how far we went. Like, it's entertaining radio, but it's like, oh my God, why did I say that? I can't believe I said that.
Well, do you, like, you're a 49ers fan. When I was a kid, I was, I get emotionally invested in sports still, but not, like, I don't let it, like, if the Knicks lose, it'll, ruin, 30 minutes for me, but I'm past it. It doesn't ruin the entire night for me. Do you get emotionally invested in games, and like how long does it take you to shake it off, or is it hardly any time?
Depends on the game. If it's just like a regular loss against a team that I really don't care about them playing, I get over pretty quickly. But if it's against Seattle, like it takes at least a week.
Yeah.
And if it's the Super Bowl, like I didn't pay, like when they lost to the Ravens in the Super Bowl, I didn't pay attention to anything like sports related until the NFL draft.
Yeah, it's well, especially with like ESPN, they just ruin everything.
It's like, oh my God,
like, it's unwatchable after the Super Bowl.
ESPN's unwatchable in general. Like, all right, we get it. You guys just love LeBron James and love Tony Romo and love who else is the one that they kind of just always talk about on there? Or did I pretty much? Which one?
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you know what though? Aaron Rodgers, I feel like kind of deserves it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Even though, let's face it, if the 49ers won the playoffs, they wouldn't have won today. But still, I'm saying they've got his number.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he wins in San Francisco.
Yeah, so there's that. But at the same time, like I can see why they'd be kind of borderline because he's I would say the best quarterback in the league presently. That he's going to be overtaken in a year or two by Andrew Luck. And I want to point out, yeah, Russell Wilson won a ring for Seattle, but if he's going to be the highest paid quarterback when his new deal comes up, what's Andrew Luck going to get paid?
Yeah, well, that's true. Well, do you feel like with Russell Wilson, he's kind of like Tom Brady early in his career, where the defense is going to win these rings.
He's going to
he's going to become like this larger than life god. Just Brady didn't really win those first 3 rings for him. No. The rest of the team did.
Eventually that team's going to get torn apart in some aspects. Like they got some core players, like they're keeping like Bennett, Averill, and most of their secondary. But what's going to happen when they can't afford to keep their interior run stuffers for too long?
Yeah.
Or some of their other linebackers. It's going to be tough. It's going to be patchwork. I mean, you've got to know. Well, they're going to have to know who to extend and who to rework and who to keep and who not to keep. Which the 49ers have been doing. But then again, they're like, yeah, you want too much. You want more than we're going to say than we think you're worth. So bye.
Yeah, that's got to be those have to be awkward conversations, and it's like, oh yeah, thanks for winning Super Bowl MVP, Bobby Wagner. You go ahead, we'll kick you to the curb right now.
Yeah, no, thanks for winning that, but hey, Golden Tate, thank you for what you do, but we're not going to pay you at all.
Golden Tate, thanks for taking a punch to the face by Percy Harvin. You both can just move on along.
Yeah, we're going to let you leave, and we're going to keep Percy Harvin for a few games as he sits there and sprains his Percy yet again.
Yeah, it's funny how, my show, it's pretty much sports related for the most part. I mean, but it's funny listening to other shows around, and it's just like, I mean, some of these podcasts, it'll be like, the person's like on the verge of killing themselves over a game. It's like, man, it's like, don't you have like a wife and kids? Can't you just kind of, enjoy that?
The people who do that need to watch A Bronx Tale. All right. Particularly the part where the kids like talking about how he idolizes Mickey Mantle, and then Chaz Palminteri's like, yeah, does he pay your rent? Why are you that invested? Like, why? How? Like, I get it. Some people need the sports to escape from their everyday life, but your world's not going to end because that call that was actually correct, but you people think was incorrect, cost Dallas the game today. Is what I'm saying, Dallas Cowboys fans who were talking smack for the last couple months because, oh, God, the one time Tony Romo doesn't just choke in December.
Well, and it's funny with, with these, as far as, like fans go, Twitter has just opened it up, like opened Pandora's box for idiots to send death threats to refs or players or whatnot. Like Oregon lost a game early in the season after one of their defensive linemen had a celebration penalty against Arizona. And all of a sudden it's like, thanks a lot, a-hole, you cost us a chance at the national championship. Where are the apologies now from those Oregon fans that are...
Yeah, meanwhile...
the apologies are nowhere to be found on Twitter.
Yeah, they're there. They're at the national title game. That's the beauty of that. Oregon was going to get in the playoffs at some point and I think they're going to win. Like, that's my prediction for that. That's my spoiler for that scenario. They're going to win that game tomorrow.
Does it bore you watching Oregon with how fast they are? Like, it's just, I don't like, a slow it down type of game, but it's almost just too fast. I get a headache, and I'm not a fan of it.
I like it. It kind of makes it a little more, in ways, it makes it a little more exciting for me. I love defense and all, but it's college. Come on.
True. Well, it's almost like fantasy, or not fantasy football. Arena football at a certain point.
Yeah, but more like it's like legitimized arena football, the NCAA.
Do you think, I've said this before, do you think Vince McMahon was 10 years too early with the XFL?
Yeah, he was.
He was an innovator. I mean, you think about it, being able to level a punt returner before he waits for a fair catch and whatnot, just little things like that. People would love that these days, raw football, old school football, and this he had, the ideas he had, weren't really that innovative at the time.
Well, they had they had that halo rule for punt returners. Mm-hmm. And initially it was just going to be a 5-yard penalty. And I think it was something like that. I think the New York New Jersey Hitman coach was like, listen, if you're going to keep calling that as a 5-yard penalty, I'm going to have my punt coverage crews destroying punt returners all season.
Yeah, so, the reason I knew that the XFL wasn't going to work was because in my grade school, the only person that latched onto the XFL was from Honduras, and I knew that it didn't stand a chance.
Well, listen, Tom Maddox and Jose Cortez were the best things to come out of that league. That's how you know.
And Rod Smart.
Yeah, Well, as far as the NFL is concerned,
true.
Rod Smart was on Carolina, I think, at one point. Like, he played.
Yeah, he got him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, wasn't there one player who was like, there was basically like a solid year that he was just playing football because he bounced from like NFL, like XFL to arena to the NFL. Like, he pretty much played football for an entire year.
I feel like that was Rod Smart. I could be wrong, but maybe it was even Tommy Maddox because he bounced.
It was I think it was a receiver. He played for like the Jets too. Like, he went to the Jets after Arena or something like that. Or he was signed or something, and he played, or something like he played football for consecutive weeks or something. I have no clue, but I remember there was some sort of weird streak because of the XFL.
It was a great league. Let's just put it that way.
I remember Jose Cortez of the LA Extreme, the kicker, and then he went to the NFL on the 49ers, and he cost them so many games.
Yeah, he had a bad run of kickers in San Fran for a while there that probably should have been NFL kickers.
Yeah, but then they eventually got Nedney. He was good. But he got too old and retired. And then I think when Harbaugh